there, I'm Arthelene Rippy. I want to welcome you. Come right on in. We have a special program for you today, and I just want you to know how welcome you are, and I hope you'll stay with us because we have some information that I think could really be good for your health and your physical well-being. And I'm welcoming back to the program Dr. John Young. You've been with us a few times.
Just a few, just a few.
Yeah, and you're always welcome, and the audience seems to like you. So as long as they like you, we'll let you come back.
I passed the test.
And Tom Myers, I'm so happy to have you here. It's your first time here.
Yep, thank
and you are an intern with Dr. Young,
Right.
and I've been over to his place, and it's busy.
It is.
My gosh.
It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of movement.
A lot of, you don't run out of things to do, I can
Definitely
I
not.
can tell. And just quickly with your background, which isn't that far along so far, but what's your opinion of a maverick doctor like him? I mean, he's thoroughly a medical doctor, but he also sees things besides pharmaceuticals and
Right.
and drugs.
I love it.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun to watch people heal naturally like they're supposed to and be able to remove some of the medications that they're on.
And that's the story we get. Maybe there's a lot of people that haven't seen you, so I'm going to do a little background on you. He's a medical doctor that spent 15 years in emergency rooms.
Yes.
You know, I'd like to talk to you just for 30 minutes about that sometime. What's the most, the most dramatic thing you ever had to deal with and all?
There are some wild stories there.
You kind of have to know the whole book, don't you,
Yes,
to deal with that. And he's also been a medical missionary in Africa, and I think that was probably all in God's planning, because that kind of was instrumental in turning you toward, maybe there's a better way than being drugged up, to put it in a nutshell.
Right. You know, it's interesting. I think R.C. Sproul says there's not a single maverick molecule that's not under God's control. And I can see over the years how God has worked situations to get me where he wants to. And it was in Africa that, before that, with all my Western U.S. training, got to get these drugs going and they'll get better. And when I was in Africa, I realized my patients didn't have access to refrigeration. They didn't always have access to being able to go to the pharmacy and get this drug every month. So they wanted to get better.
What a revelation.
Yes. Instead of, giving out pills to slow their progress to death, they want to actually get better. And I think I've told some people about the time where I saw the witch doctor. I had the patient with the high blood pressure, and I gave him the medicine, and he didn't follow up. And I saw him later with the witch doctor, and he said, well, the witch doctor got me better. I drank his potion. I've never had problems since.
What was in the potion, do you know?
I've always wondered.
Probably something natural.
Definitely something natural. But the fact that he got better, no more hypertension, and all I was going to do was treat his hypertension for 20, 30, 40 years, that's what really got me thinking.
It's, I guess a light bulb went on in my head when you said they don't have refrigeration. That changes everything. And also, you're constantly talking about German doctors and what they're doing in other parts of the world. And I think that's very, very important.
Well, you learn from the old guys of medicine. And, Budwig, Warburg, and Mayer with the Nobel Prizes they won. Myers at Johns Hopkins, Cathcart, at Duke, and at Mayo Clinic. All these guys that we kind of forgot about, they just have a tremendous amount of information to give to us.
They were pretty smart.
A lot smarter than I am.
And maybe people are saying, where have I seen him? Where have I seen him? Probably when we talked about the Young Power Shake. And I love mine. I just love it. It's just gives me such a boost. But that's another program. We're talking about a couple of items today. And one is vitamin D and its importance, and also something I hadn't heard of, and we'll do these separately, but it's called Lugol.
Lugol is very French, yes.
Oh, yeah, that was an accident. Which it's a source of iodine?
Right. Well, actually, iodine it's on the periodic chart, and it was a French chemist, scientist, I forget his first name, Lugol, who actually kind of put it together as a liquid, really, and it was called Lugol solution, and it's iodine. And years ago, we had iodized salt, and everything was fine. If you were up in the north central U.S., Minnesota, Wisconsin, that was called the goiter belt.
Really?
And what we learned was people that did not have enough iodine would develop these goiters in their thyroid gland. And so we started iodizing salt. Well, now we've taken the iodine out of salt.
Why?
Why?
Somebody made that decision.
Someone made that decision, and what we're seeing is more and more problems with iodine deficiency. I think it's very interesting. In our environment, especially in the area we live down here in Florida, we have chlorinated water, and chlorine binds iodine.
Swimming pools.
We have fluoride in our water. Fluoride binds iodine. And then most of the bread products are made with bromine, which also binds iodine. So we take in a lot of products every day that bind iodine.
Oh, what does it mean, bind?
In other words, it binds the molecule so the body can't use it.
Oh, okay.
If you do not have iodine, you cannot turn T4 into T3, which is the active thyroid hormone in our body. In the old textbooks of medicine, the rule was any woman with fibrous, cysts in her breasts, ovarian cysts, the first thing you thought of was iodine deficiency.
Is that right?
I have more women that are seeing me and they've had a number of cysts removed in their breasts. It may be cancerous. Versus the old guys said, give them iodine and let's see what happens. And it's amazing the number of women that come back and say, the cyst, the tenderness of the breast tenderness is gone. So before thinking surgery, you may want to think iodine deficiency.
Yeah, and we want to get into this in a little more detail, but I do want you to know what we're offering on this program, and it's 2 items. It is the iodine solution and also the vitamin D. It's on your screen right now, but let me explain to you. First of all, there's about a $7 savings just by combining this, but with the free shipping, you're saving about $20 on this. This is just such a good deal. So write down that telephone number and we'll get into these a little more, and then you'll decide if you want to make that call and get it for yourself. But we're offering you something that's very beneficial and very doable probably for your financial situation. Let's come back to that a little bit, and I want to talk to Tom about the vitamin D. We hear a lot about it because even my doctor, and I praise God that I'm so healthy. I don't take any drugs or anything. But they do the blood test a couple times a year, and she take some more vitamin D. That's what she told me recently. And do you take this, or have you just watched people, have a really good positive result from it?
Both. And actually, I also give it to my kids. Now, I do have to tell you, I was a little bit nervous to begin with giving it to my kids because you don't really know how much do you give a child, that type of thing.
Right.
Well, make a long story short, I have 3 children. All 3 of them got sick. Boom, boom, boom. And I just loaded them up.
With the vitamin D?
With the vitamin D. And in a matter of about a day and a half, all of it was gone.
So how much did you give them? How many units did you give them?
I gave them a full dropper. I didn't even
full
measure.
dropper full.
Yep. I think it's about 40,000 roughly.
I think our lifestyle has really affected this because we get vitamin D from the sun. And I did a little research myself that people with dark skin need more. And the fact that we really aren't out that much. Kids, they've taken recess away from them, and they might be in playing with their technological toys. And we've had a real shift, I really believe, in lifestyle that's making vitamin D deficient in the whole nation.
Plus the sunscreens.
Oh, that's right.
When they do go outside, we're all slathered up with sunscreens. It's like we've taken a bath in it, so you can't even absorb what's being sent down.
Now, what does vitamin D do for us, doctor?
Well, first of all, it's not a vitamin. If you look at Harrison's textbook of medicine, the first paragraph
I've never
says,
read that book.
oh, it's great bedtime reading. It'll put you to sleep.
It would put me to sleep.
It's a hormone. Every single cell in your body has a vitamin D receptor. I can't think of any condition that does not need vitamin D. If you live above the latitude of Atlanta, you will never absorb any vitamin D if you go outside from November, December, January, and February. And then we're inside a lot, so we don't get, like Tom said, a lot of vitamin D. We know that it makes bones harder. Any child that has a broken bone, it may be because of an accident, but you want to make sure that their vitamin D levels are high. My 7-year-old doesn't go outside a lot. I'm trying to get him involved in sports. But he would get in our bed at night, and we'd kind of pull him out and put him back. But the pillow would be soaked, he'd be sweating. And Professor Hollick, who is the guru of vitamin D in the world, said something that when you have low vitamin D, the nerves get irritated, and kids will do that.
Really?
Well, so I started giving him, checked him and started giving him large doses of vitamin D, and within 3 days it stopped. But what we're finding is our patients do not have enough vitamin D. And we aren't outside in the sun, and if there's a glass there, it blocks those rays that make vitamin D. You also have to have a good cell membrane to make vitamin D. That's why the young shake. So most of your doctors will say the range of vitamin D is 30 to 100. If you're 31, you're fine. We know that the International Medicine...
What does that mean?
If you have this 30 units of vitamin D per a certain amount of blood, you're fine. But even the International Medical Association has said you need levels over 50 just to act as a preventive in breast cancer, malignant melanoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and about 12 other cancers. So it's very important, we think, to have higher levels. And we always say to our patients, if you're going to do higher levels, make sure your doctor checks your calcium, because they cannot raise your calcium, so you want to have that checked. But we have just been unbelievably surprised as we got the vitamin D levels up, how many people get better.
What's the difference in this product and the little pills that I have been taking, because I didn't have this?
All right, first of all, you make sure it's vitamin D3, which is really the active absorbable type. We have found, and I've talked to others, I've done the pills on a lot of my patients, the prescription and all that, but I don't think that it's absorbed as well, because it's hard for me to get the levels up. And I'm doing much higher levels in my patients, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And so I find that the liquid is much better. One drop is 2,000 units. A lot of them, it's, one drop is 400 units. So
this lasts a long time.
Lasts a long time. The other thing is people don't realize that just living on planet Earth, you're going to go through about 10,000 units of vitamin D a day. Some of my cancer patients that are getting chemo under tremendous stress, I had a lady the other day, goes through about 15,000 units of vitamin D a day. So you need to replace the vitamin D. I had a lady come in though recently, Doc, I cannot have low vitamin D. I mean, I'm out in the sun, I bicycle the trail, noontime, a great tan. We got our levels. They were terrible. Just because you have a tan or being out in the sun doesn't mean you can make vitamin D. It has to deal with the cell membrane. And most Americans have very crummy cell membranes, so they make very little.
I know, we've been over that a few times. And did you have a low vitamin D test?
It wasn't clinically low, but it was at the lower end. I was about 45, I think. That's about where it was. So it was, it was still low, but it wasn't
when
what
you
they would
started
consider
this,
low.
could you tell the difference in how you felt, or?
The biggest thing that I noticed is I don't get sick.
Well, that's pretty good.
I don't get sick, and if I do start to feel something coming on, I'm not generous, or I'm very generous with it. I'll take about 60 units of it, or 60,000 units of it, and it'll be gone.
Yeah,
it's really fast.
Yes, and let me remind you again, we're offering you 2 items, and we're going to be talking more about this Lugol's solution, and you get both of them for $39 and no shipping cost. So write down that number. And as soon as the program's over, you might want to make a call and order these products. Now, why are they together? Does everybody needs vitamin D, we know that.
Right, and we find most Americans are very low in vitamin D. Mm-hmm. And with the iodine, most Americans are very low in iodine. Remember, iodine regulates any organ that secretes in the body, thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, ovaries, breast tissue. Any organ that secretes, iodine regulates. Liquefies cholesterol, comes out through your skin, makes your skin smooth and silky, makes mucus very thin. I put my asthmatics on it to keep those mucus plugs very thin so they don't get all this plugging.
Can everybody use this? I know the vitamin D,
you know,
for sure.
People say, there are those that say they're allergic to iodine, and I'd say don't use it. I think a lot of times it's not that they're allergic to the mineral, because if you do not have iodine, you will die. You know, the body needs iodine. But I'd say to them, check it out with your doctor. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they're not allergic to the iodine, they're allergic to the protein that they combine the iodine with to do these dyes for some of these medical procedures.
Now this is not a new thing either, is it?
Well, been around since 1829, I think it is.
Yeah, I read, well, 50 years back, but even you go way back a lot farther than that.
Right.
Let's talk about the thyroid, because when that gets off whack, everything. I've had a couple of relatives, and their hair would fall out, and they'd get really, I know I had an aunt, my husband's aunt, and nobody was happier. I mean, she was just the best thing to be around. Something went wacky with her thyroid, and she dropped an earring on the floor and just went all to pieces, you know. And so I don't think we realized how little, thyroid's not very big, is it? But if something goes wrong with it.
It's called the master glands right here in the throat.
So how does this affect, what if somebody's on a thyroid medication?
Well, I use it with my patients because it helps turn T4 into T3, which I said is the active thyroid hormone. I would say, you know, they should consult with their doctor. It is, you know, it's a regulator. Mm-hmm. And most doctors don't understand that. And I use in my patients 5 to 10 milligrams. Each drop is a milligram a day, but they need to talk with their doctor about it. I know that it also regulates the heart's electrical activity, iodine does. And some of the drugs that we're using, cardiac drugs that regulate the heart, they use very high amounts of iodine, much more than 10.
Is that right?
Yes. The way you can get an iodine, it's a urine iodine test. A blood test is not good level, does not tell you accurately what your levels are. It's a urine, 24-hour urine iodine test. It's the test that you'd ask your doctor to order.
As your approach to medicine, because you probably very quickly can find out, you know, what the medical or what the pharmaceuticals say about this certain problem, and this is the protocol for that.
Right.
But when you get into the history, as you're prone to do, and boy, I appreciate that. I love that young power shake. It's just wonderful. And you know, doctor, I'm just not ever sick. I'm so thankful for that. But I think when we take these kinds of opportunities to maintain, don't wait till you're sick
right.
to start. But when you get into the history of, say, something like this, and the vitamin D, do you find things that really surprise you?
Well, I do. You know, a lot of people, especially with vitamin D, is this. A lot of the arthritic doctors that practice dealing with rheumatoid arthritis and
mm-hmm.
things like that, rheumatologists, they don't like vitamin D because they think it makes the body's immune system hyperactive and can make the conditions worse. Vitamin D does not do that. It absolutely does not do that. It makes the immune system better. I have a patient that on a number of drugs that were toxic to her liver, mm-hmm. and she wanted to try some different things. And the only thing I did with her is I raised her vitamin D level. Now, remember, the patients need to consult with their doctor. You want to know what your level is when you start, mm-hmm. and follow your calcium levels, and your doctor can do that. And I got her up rather high, way over 100, but you know what? No pain, no problems off all her medications.
And she was arthritic?
Yes, rheumatoid arthritis. And the thing is this, that some of my patients I run, they're my patients, I'm watching them, I run them way over 100, And as long as the calcium levels are fine, the patients are fine. So, you know, you kind of have to look at each individual patient, but just living on planet Earth every day, the average person is probably going to use about 10,000 units of vitamin D a day.
And we know that everybody needs vitamin D. That's established.
Right.
What's it been like for you to see some of these people come in and they start to get better and better? And
It's really been a lot of fun because, you know, just those 2 solutions alone. This is something I forgot to mention about the Lugols, is my middle child, this has been about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he had one of those really thick, phlegmy, mucusy things where, you know, where you just can't get it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him several drops of that. And
really?
I mean, in a matter of probably a half of an hour, he was walking around because it just liquefied everything, and it just was coming up like crazy. I mean, it was really good.
Yeah.
Getting back to your original question, though,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fun because going through school, we didn't really learn a tremendous amount about the vitamins, about the minerals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you touch on it, but that's really about the limit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of
Learn a lot about the pharmaceuticals, though.
exactly. There's a lot of not only misinformation, but there's a lot of lacking information out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really get in to start looking and watching what happens with people, it's amazing.
Right?
It's
And
incredible.
that's frightening because people like myself, we're sitting out here at everybody's mercy that they'll search and try to find the right thing for you and then do it.
You have to trust that the doctor knows
Yes.
what they're supposed to know.
Yeah. I want to again tell you about, and we'll show you the information for Lugol's solution and also for Dr. Young's vitamin D. The information's on your screen. I hope you've written that telephone number down. If not, now's a good time to get it and make that call, and you can order that. And I'm telling you, friends, I don't know when we've ever been able to offer you such a good deal. Both of these products for $39, free shipping, and Deanna told me that basically you're getting about a $20 savings on this, and that is very important. And we might say too that this is probably a whole lot cheaper than a prescription. I haven't had a prescription, I can't tell you how long, but my sister's husband has Parkinson's, and sometimes she's in the line to get a prescription. She said $300, $700 is nothing at the drug counter.
And this is why I like vitamin D. It really makes the immune system work better.
Mm-hmm.
And so patients with Parkinson's or any condition you have, giving vitamin D really does make a difference in their life. The other thing is also with depression.
That's across the board. Everybody
Right.
needs that. Everybody needs to be out in the sun, and they're not.
But whether it's depression or infections or whatever, you know, vitamin D is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there a study not too long ago about neuropathies?
Yes, Loyola University did a very interesting study with diabetics and neuropathies. And I've been doing that very same thing that Loyola's been doing, and a huge increase in my patients coming back and saying, my neuropathy is much better or it's gone.
That was the vitamin D?
Vitamin D. So
wow, that's
vitamin
big.
D and neuropathy very close together.
I've got diabetics in my family.
So, you know, that is, I've really raised the levels on that, and I've been very pleased with my results.
Well, you know, the scripture says that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And I think that is just such a loaded statement. And so we need to find out those components that we were created with, because those are the things that are going to carry us through and keep us healthy. And when God created the sun, he made it so that vitamin D will hit us and all those good things. So
We just stay in away from the sun.
we're about out of time, but I want to touch on the iodine one more time. Do most people need this?
Right. I mean, I think Myers at Johns Hopkins years ago said he felt that probably 95% of Americans were iodine deficient. And so the other thing is, I've never heard of anybody dying from an overdose of iodine.
Well, that's good to know, because most of us are pretty ignorant
about it. You can usually tell when you're taking too much when you start to produce a lot of saliva. And when you're starting to drool a lot, you might want to cut back.
Okay, now what is it in your body? What is the mechanism that tells you if you're deficient?
Well, some people talk about a little skin test. You can put a little drop or two and see if it's absorbed quickly or not. But if you're looking at scientific, you have to do a 24-hour urine iodine test. But the other thing is it really doesn't matter if you're using high amounts or not, I found out. You know, I will still use it for my asthmatics, for people with high cholesterol, just a number of conditions, because it's very, very safe.
So what we're basically talking about is two things here we already have, we're born with, but because of lifestyle, because of depletions in
or what they've added to the water to deplete the minerals.
Right. Because of a number of things, we could be low in it.
Right.
And we could be healthier if we could get it up where it's supposed to be.
That's right.
You've got 4 children, right?
I do.
You line them up and say, here's your vitamin D, and here's your power shake.
They
And
get the iodine, they get the vitamin D, and I do notice that as I keep the vitamin D levels higher, they're better. The baby rarely, once I let her levels get a little low, runny noses, a little coughs come back, I raised it up higher, no problem. And she's with the other kids in school, you know, the 2-year-olds, doing well.
And you keep your kids with the vitamin D level a little higher than?
Most definitely.
Can you get it too high?
Well, yes, and then what you see is the calcium level goes up, and then, you know, you need to stop it, and if it gets, you know, that's why you go to a doctor.
What kind of calcium is that? Is
Well,
that
the
kind we
serum
need?
calcium, the serum calcium that you do in a blood test. I guess I've been doing this enough, so I kind of get a feel for my patients, and I check their vitamin D levels maybe 3 times a year, check the calcium levels. What I've done for my patients is I give them 20,000 units a month. 20,000 units a day for a month will raise their level 20 points. And once I get it where I want
That
it,
sounds like a lot.
but that's what you need to get where you want to get. And then I usually put them on about 10,000 units a day, which is 5 drops, as a maintenance. Some people I'll use a little less, but I follow that.
Can I have these?
Yes, you may. Yes, you may.
We are out of time, but I'm so glad that the Lord brought you this way, and I appreciate your curiosity that you keep finding maybe there's a better way than to be drugged up a lot. So thanks. You're always welcome here. Delightful to have you here.
Thank you.
You're welcome back too, and so are you, but we're out of time. So join us next time. Will you do that? God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.